It's been said that life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's learning to dance in the rain. A rare form of cancer has threatened Lynne McTaggart since she was diagnosed December 2009. But she's still on the run and inviting you to join her. Welcome, Lynne. It's a real privilege to have you here. I'm surprised you drove yourself here.
I'm as independent as I can be. Enjoy being as active and independent as I'm able.
You have quite a story. I want to say that you are a wife of 30 years.
I am.
Bill is your husband.
He's a wonderful man.
You have 3 beautiful grown married daughters.
I do.
And you're an avid runner.
I am. I try as best I can to still be an avid runner, but I've always been an avid runner since I was probably 10 years old.
Let's boast a little bit. You still hold a record at McMaster University in track?
I don't know, do I?
Apparently. Yeah, you broke some records there and they still stand. And you just are an athlete from the get-go. And I'm sure that makes what you're dealing with doubly shocking.
Shocking would be a good word. Yeah, absolutely. December 2009, when I was first diagnosed, shock would be an initial response that both my husband and I and then my family had. I think you always feel that if you're in good shape and you're eating the right foods and you have a positive outlook on life, and I had a strong faith that seemed to be the components that would be necessary for a long life. I had a grandfather who lived till 96. Surely that would be me. But then you get a diagnosis that says you have a 7.5 centimeter tumor already in your liver, and you think, whoa.
And what a surprise. You were training to run a 5K.
I was.
In under 20 minutes, because your own time that you were trying to beat was 20 minutes, 19 seconds. Chest pains, that was spring '09.
Right, spring '09, I said to Bill, my husband, you know, hon, every time I work out, I just can't get my time better, which was frustrating to me. Of course, he's laughing, thinking, would that I could run 20 minutes and 19. And I'm saying, I'm feeling some chest pain about an hour after I run. It's kind of odd. So he, being a paramedic supervisor and a caring husband, says, please get it checked out. Not a big fan of doctors, but said, okay, if you promise not to tell anybody, I'll go get it checked out. So we began with a family doctor, a wonderful family doctor, Dr. Martha Graham. And she began to see me, investigated heart, which would seem like the normal way to start to investigate. Nothing. Strong heart, everything looked good. Resting pulse of, 44, everything looks fantastic. Went through into the fall, still finding that I could work out less, finding much more fatigue, but still very active, because I think my level of fatigue was probably some people's level of energy.
Sure.
So she scheduled an every 2-week appointment with me and said, we need to get to the bottom of this, which I really, really respect, because I believe some physicians might have just sort of fluffed me off and said, it's kind of in your head, you must be under some stress. She did as much blood work as she possibly could. Nothing came back. So on December 4th, she had a CAT scan done at Oakville Trafalgar Hospital. Called me in on December 9th and said, I'm shocked, Lynne. In fact, she broke down in tears in the office and just said to me, you have a 7.5 centimeter tumor in your liver.
In your liver?
In my liver.
Chest pain and the tumor's in your liver.
Absolutely. And they still have no idea why I felt chest pain. So it's probably a referred discomfort. But they really can't medically explain that. I guess I say it was God's way of getting attention for me to sort of say something's wrong.
To do something.
And so then began a very fast track of investigation. I was really blessed, because I now know in retrospect she was able to refer me to probably the top physician, maybe in all of Ontario in this area, Dr. Michael Marcascio, through Hamilton Health Sciences. And I was able to see him. He did a liver biopsy, because initially they didn't know, was it primary liver disease or hepatic disease, or was it secondary? Had it already metastasized? And they soon were able to determine that it had metastasized and it had started in the biliary tree.
And this, in fact, is a very rare biliary cancer.
Extremely
biliary
rare.
For bile duct or gallbladder. That's,
Yeah.
I had to Google this. I'd never heard of this.
Yeah.
In fact, your family doctor had never heard of it. You're a nurse and you'd never heard of it.
I'd never heard of it. We had to do the same thing, go to Google and look it up, and find very little information because it's a very rare disease.
ICC.
Intrahepatic cholangiocarcinoma.
I wasn't even going to try.
Yeah, so yeah, we practiced that.
Boy, what was that earthquake for you, your family?
I went to the doctor that day alone. My husband had offered to come with me, and I'm, you know, stellarly independent. I don't need anybody. Immediately I needed someone, called him, he came over, and we started the journey together. And it changes your life instantly. We sort of said, well, when will we tell the kids? The kids were in university, they were starting into exams, we don't want to tell them. A family doctor said, no, it's pretty imminent, you need to talk to the kids. So we decided we'd do what we always did, which was go down to the Christmas parade in Niagara-on-the-Lake. You know, here we are a family of late teens, early 20s, and we still go to a Christmas parade, but that's okay, that's our family.
Let's put a picture to that. We have a fabulous family picture here.
Okay, so that's our family. We go to a Christmas parade. And so we went to the Christmas parade having planned that Bill and I would tell the kids when we got back. And so the two son-in-laws that couldn't come because they were studying, we just gave them a little FYI, meet us back at the house, so they knew something was up. And we met with the family right away after the parade in the house, and immediately I just sort of got right to the goods. This is what's up. And, you know, there's shock. There's every response that you would expect, from tears to just disbelief. Mom, you sure? This can't be right.
You would be, what, 51?
I was at that time 50, turning 51 in the February. Yeah, 50 years old, turning 51. And there was everything that there is today. There's every emotion. There's anger. There's the sense of it can't be real. Have they missed something? And, you know, for the first 2 weeks, I would honestly say from December 9th, when I first found out, for 2 weeks, I really wrestled with God. Just quietly. I'm not a talker to anybody. And I just kept saying, really, God? Like, are you sure you don't need me? Like, my kids need me. My husband needs me. I have some really solid friends, and I love my work in Reach Forth. Are you sure? And who's going to look after my kids? And it was like, not an earthquake that happened in my brain, but one day, I was working out at the Y, which is sort of my solace. And I was on one of my treadmill machines, and it was like quietly God just said to me, really, Lynn? Like, who do you think you are that you're the only one who can look after your family? And I kind of got this like, oh, would this be that I'm a little proud? I'm not proud, I'm kind of a humble person. And it was just like God said, I can take care of you, and I will take care of your family. You don't need to know how. You just need to know that you have my promise that I will. And that's still a promise I hold on to. I've never gone to the why me question, and I don't think that's a wrong question to ask. It's just not something that crosses my mind, because I believe I'm blessed. In many countries of the world, as I said initially on another interview, you know, I'd be already dead. Women 50 years old, we don't make it to 50 in many countries of the world, let alone with the quality of life I've been afforded. So I felt blessed, have a solid marriage, wonderful kids, tons of friends, a wonderful home. You know, how could I complain? So I just said to God, okay, you take care of my family. I'm just going to use every day to serve you, whatever that means.
Have you reached for the miracle?
I have. Absolutely. We had church elders come and pray and lay hands and pray for healing. And I still pray for a complete and total healing. To date, it doesn't appear that God's desire is to heal me physically. And I say that with the comfort of knowing that He could. I really believe He can still do that. But also recognize that He has performed many little miracles over the last 2 years that are just amazing to me. One of those miracles is just being here. If you had told me in December 8th, 2009 that I would ever be on TV, I would have just said, you know, I don't know what I would have said to you, probably something like, you're crazy, there's no way. And so God just brings it together and says, I have a purpose far greater than you, Lynn. And even this morning when I got up, I just said, you know, God, I don't know what you want to do, but whatever you want to do it. And you know, we think of transition. I think of this year, 2011, the year 2011, you know, started with blonde hair, went completely bald because of chemo, grew back this lovely little fro that my kids call my bunny do.
I wish you could feel it at home. It is like stroking a bunny.
That's
it's
right.
so soft.
Yeah, my daughter Alicia calls it my bunny do. And I don't do anything. This is it. It grew to this, stopped.
And it's not gut.
No, it's...
God even gave you a
God gave it to me. This
funky
is it.
little style.
This is my funky little do that God gave me. And, you know, I still get to go to the Y. I still get to have time with my family. Yes, life changed dramatically. We're very much intentional, where we weren't as intentional before. We talk intentionally. We talk openly. I decided right from day one, no secrets. We're an open family. What I know, you'll know. When I know it, you'll know it. If you have a question, you ask it. Don't be afraid.
I love that you said in the green room, you see everyone as valuable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is nobody, you know, and I think here I sit in this room and there's somebody, you know, taking video. There's someone did makeup, someone who met me at the door. Every single person makes it happen. And God says, I'll use you whatever you want to do and whatever you're gifted in. And each person's gifted, and I see that. It's so cool. Each day, you know, you're at the Y and there's someone cleaning your machine as you're working out. That person is as valuable or more valuable than I am.
Well, then God is using you in an even broader sense. He gave you a vision as the journey began.
He did.
And it seems to be an expanding vision.
It
Tell
does.
us about it.
Well, we'd always thought in Reach for Sports, where I work as a part-time sports director, that we'd like to do a road race. But it's a lot of work to put together a road race. We're a not-for-profit organization, small, mostly volunteers. And so as I was diagnosed, Steve, the director, and my husband thought, aha, this is the moment for Lynne's run. And we talked a lot about legacy. What is it that we leave? And again, one moment I thought, we all leave a legacy. Whether it's good or bad, every day I leave a mark. Some days, maybe not such a great mark. Other days, prayerfully a wonderful mark. But every single human being is leaving a legacy. So we sort of start to put those ideas together of a legacy run and a walk, because I wanted everybody to be able to be involved. I love kids, so we thought, let's do a 1K fun run. I love the whole concept that everybody could be involved, whether you're a single mom with some kids or a single dad with some kids or a mom and dad. We wanted everybody to be able to say, hey, I can participate. So out of that developed a Lynne's Legacy Run. And I struggled with my name being associated with it, I must admit. I was like, you don't have to put my name on there, just call it a legacy run. And Steve was like, no, let's call it Lynne's Legacy.
It makes it personal.
Yeah, and I think, again, that was where God just, I always say I needed 2 or 3 days to kind of do my personal wrestling with God, where he says, Lynne, it's not about you, it's about me. And then I'd be like, okay, if that's the case, go for it. So we had the first Lynne's Legacy Run, May 22nd, 2011.
We're actually going to scoop a little of the footage we ran.
Oh, cool.
Of you crossing, look for the blonde here, look for the blonde.
Yeah, not the gray.
Right there, crossing the finish line. How many people participated in the first one?
We had over 300 people.
Very good.
Which was really neat to
You have
see.
a much bigger goal for the second annual.
We do. For the second annual, which will be on May 21st, 2012, we'd like to see in excess of 1,000 people. And we'd love to raise over $100,000. The proceeds will go to Reach for Sports and the Juravinski Cancer Center, which is really exciting because we've partnered this year with the Juravinski Cancer Center in Hamilton, really specifically for biliary cancers, to raise money for both research and equipment. And so Dr. Marcascio is really excited, and his biliary team, they're all going to participate because it's very difficult to get funds for a cancer where most people don't live beyond 12 weeks. Wow. So there's really little or no research because you can't get a body of people to research. And so this is an opportunity for us to contribute, perhaps in a small but meaningful way.
Could bring meaningful change.
Yeah, meaningful change.
Let's put up a page because this is a family affair.
It is.
Remember, you can walk, and the children's walk is just 1K.
1 kilometer. Yeah. So
this is a delightful day out. Monday, May 21st. You can register now at www.lynn'slegacyrun.ca. If you're in the Hamilton area at all, Churchill Park is where it is going to take place. Oh, it's hard to even say it out loud. But it was September, Lynne. We are doing this interview now, the first week of February.
Yeah.
September, you were given 3 to 6 months.
That's right. At a visit with my medical oncologist, Dr. Phillips, who's again an amazing physician, she said there's no more treatment that would benefit you at this point. And so you have that hard discussion. And she said, I would give you 3 to 6 months. She said, you know, Lynn, you're pretty optimistic and you still are doing as much exercise as possible, so you might be on the 6-month end of things. But from a human perspective. And so I turned to her and I said, in a very loving way, I said, but remember Calista, that's her name. I said, you're not God. And she said, yep, I hear you, Lynn. So I didn't go home and start marking my calendar. I went home and I said, okay, all the more reason I just got to make sure every day is like whatever, God, you want me to do, I want to make the most of it. And sometimes when I can't sleep at night, it's because I think I'm wasting time. I want to get up and do this and send an email to this person and encourage that person. And you know, maybe just play a game and have some fun with the kids, because we're just really real people. You know, we sit around the table and play Dutch Blitz and lots of fun games together, and that's meaningful as a family too, because you can't spend every day thinking about the end, but spending each day building into each other's lives in a way that they'll want to continue on even when I'm no longer here, that they'll have caught that vision. And as I see my husband out trying to get sponsors for the run, he's got the vision. As much as he looks at his wife and says, I don't know, he still has passion. And I want those kids, my friends, to share that passion long beyond my days on earth. And as much as there'll be grief, I want there to be excitement in knowing that life here is short. Whether you have 50 or 90 years, it's still short. And too soon we'll all face our Creator. And I want my friends to know that it's whether they have a relationship with Jesus Christ that really, really matters. Everything else, it's kind of immaterial. Whether I'm in great shape, you know, I said I'm the living example of it's what's on the inside that counts. I have so many people say, oh, you still look good, you're running, you're active. And I say, yeah, but if you looked at my CAT scan and you realize the disease, the tumors in my liver, the tumors in my lung, the tumors in my mediastinum. And so we can fake other people out by what's on the outside. We can put makeup on and look good. And yet on the inside, we can be filled with sin and just despair. And I just encourage people that if you're feeling that today, you know what? God has a hope for you beyond the grave, to give you something to live for tomorrow. And I just know in my work, both as a nurse previously and in Reach Forth, there's a lot of pain in the world. Mental pain, physical pain. And I suffer somewhat, but nothing compared to other people.
Well, Lynn, you and your family are just a wonderful model to us. A portrait of God's grace through a very difficult season, reality that you wouldn't have chosen. And your encouragement just prompts me to remind our viewers that the number on the screen is a place where you can do business with God. You can call and have prayer and get it settled now. We've talked so much about heaven in the last year or 2 years. I know it is a real hope for you, a reality that's very much in view for you, Lynn. You want to know that it's settled in your heart, in your life. And here's a fun thing, a meaningful thing. I had printed this verse out in living color for Lynn because I wanted to just leave it as a closing thought. I thought, oh, Lynn is the poster girl for this verse. Guess what she had in her pocket? Philippians 3, 12 to 14. Listen. I press on. You need to read it. It's your verse.
Okay, I press on to take hold of that for which Christ took hold of me, forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead. I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. Philippians 3, 12 to 14.
If you can't participate in Lynn's legacy run, will you pray? Because she wants to make the run. Lynn, you are an inspiration. Thank you. We'll be praying for you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for this opportunity.